There is a side of power that the world rarely teaches you about. It is not loud, it does not beg for attention, it does not seek validation. It is quiet, magnetic, and deeply rooted in self-awareness. This is the internal dark feminine energy, a sacred force that lives within chosen ones who have done the inner work, faced their shadows, and emerged refined rather than broken. It is not about manipulation, bitterness, or revenge. It is about depth, discernment, emotional intelligence, and unshakable self-possession. Chosen ones who master this energy do not fear their emotions. They do not run from their past. They sit with discomfort, transmute pain into wisdom, and turn rejection into redirection. They understand that darkness is not evil. It is simply the unknown waiting to be integrated. When balanced with light, this energy becomes one of the most powerful spiritual and psychological forces a person can embody. If you feel different, misunderstood, or unusually self-aware, this message may be confirmation for you. Now let us explore the 8 rare traits of those who have truly mastered their internal dark feminine energy. 1. They are emotionally alchemic. Chosen ones feel deeply, but they do not drown. Their emotional depth is not a weakness, it is one of their greatest strengths. Where others numb themselves, distract themselves, or project their pain onto others, these individuals turn inward. When anger arises, they do not immediately react, they reflect. When jealousy surfaces, they do not shame themselves, they analyze. When grief grips their chest, they allow themselves to sit with it long enough to understand its roots. They have learned that emotions are intelligent signals, not chaotic enemies. Every wave of feeling carries information. Every trigger reveals an unhealed place or a boundary that needs reinforcement. Instead of suppressing anger, jealousy, grief, or betrayal, they study it like a sacred text. They ask, "What is this teaching me? Where is this coming from? What part of me needs attention?" That pause between feeling and reaction is where their power lives. They transmute emotional pain into power. Where others spiral into bitterness, they evolve into wisdom. Their sadness sharpens their self-awareness. Their heartbreak strengthens their boundaries. Their disappointment deepens their discernment. They understand that emotions are messengers, not enemies. And because they have done this inner work repeatedly, they no longer fear intense feelings. They trust their ability to process them. They trust that no emotion will destroy them because they have survived emotional storms before. There is a calm intensity about them, a grounded presence that can be felt without a word being spoken. People can sense that they have endured betrayal, loss, abandonment, or deep disappointment, and yet they did not collapse into victimhood. They did not let pain turn them cruel. They did not let heartbreak harden them beyond recognition. Instead, they refined themselves. Their emotional range becomes their superpower. Their ability to transform suffering into self-mastery makes them quietly formidable. They are emotionally alchemic because they do not run from darkness. They convert it into light within themselves. 2. They move in silence. Mastered dark feminine energy does not announce itself. It does not shout for validation, nor does it feel compelled to constantly explain itself. These individuals have outgrown the need to be seen in every room or understood in every conversation. They have realized that constant explanation often drains power. So they choose silence, not as avoidance, but as sovereignty. They no longer feel the need to defend their decisions to those who have not earned access to their inner world. They no longer broadcast their goals prematurely. They have learned that speaking too soon can invite unnecessary opinions, projections, envy, or interference. Silence becomes their sanctuary. It becomes the sacred space where ideas grow undisturbed. Privacy becomes protection, not secrecy rooted in fear, but discernment rooted in wisdom. They understand that not everyone deserves access to their mind, body, or future. Access is earned, not assumed, so they observe more than they speak. They watch patterns, they listen carefully, they study people's reactions when others are not looking. They gather information before responding, and when they do speak, their words are measured and intentional. Their quietness is not weakness, it is strategy. There is immense power in restraint. In a world addicted to oversharing, their mystery becomes magnetic. In environments where people compete for attention, their stillness stands out. They do not chase recognition. They let their results speak. Silence also strengthens their intuition. By not constantly externalizing their thoughts, they deepen their relationship with their inner voice. They become comfortable sitting with their own company. They do not fear solitude because they understand it is the soil where clarity grows. When they move deliberately. When they decide fully. And often, people are surprised by their progress because they never saw it coming. That is the power of someone who builds quietly and reveals selectively. Their silence is not emptiness. It is preparation. 3. They have ruthless boundaries without guilt. One of the clearest signs of mastery is the ability to say no without over-explaining. For many, boundaries feel harsh, confrontational, or selfish. But for chosen ones who've integrated their shadow, boundaries are an act of self-respect. They understand that boundaries are not walls built to isolate. They are filters designed to protect peace. They no longer overextend themselves to be liked. They no longer sacrifice their comfort to maintain appearances. They no longer tolerate disrespect disguised as humor, inconsistency disguised as confusion, or manipulation disguised as affection. Experience has sharpened their standards, and because they have learned the cost of self-betrayal, they refuse to repeat it. When something feels misaligned, they withdraw gracefully but firmly. There is no dramatic explosion, no unnecessary confrontation, just a quiet recalibration. They remove themselves from environments that drain them. They distance themselves from people who violate their values. They do not need to create enemies. They simply redirect their energy. And the key? They do not feel guilty about it. This is what makes their boundaries ruthless. Not cruelty, but clarity. They understand that every yes to something misaligned is a no to themselves. They understand that protecting their energy protects their purpose. So when they decline invitations, refuse emotional labor, or disengage from unhealthy dynamics, they do so without apology. They have released the fear of being labeled selfish. They know that people who benefited from their lack of boundaries will protest when those boundaries appear, but they no longer negotiate their self-worth for approval. Their boundaries are not reactive. They are intentional. They are rooted in self-knowledge. They know what they value. They know what they will not tolerate, and they know that peace is more valuable than popularity. This kind of firmness commands respect. Even those who resist it can feel its strength, because someone who honors themselves consistently teaches others how to treat them. Their boundaries are not barriers to love. They are prerequisites for it. 4. They are comfortable being misunderstood. Dark feminine mastery often comes with solitude. When someone begins to operate from depth instead of surface-level validation, they inevitably outgrow certain spaces. These individuals know that not everyone will understand their quiet intensity, their selectiveness, or their standards. And instead of shrinking themselves to be digestible, they accept the discomfort of being misunderstood. They have been called too intense, too private, too mysterious, or too much. In earlier seasons of life, those labels may have wounded them. They may have tried to soften themselves, to explain themselves, to dilute their presence so others could feel comfortable. But mastery changed that. They realized that shrinking does not create connection. It creates resentment. So they stopped editing themselves for approval. They stopped simplifying their thoughts for shallow conversations. They stopped apologizing for depth. They understand that being misunderstood is sometimes protection. Not everyone is meant to access their full story. Not everyone has the emotional capacity to hold their complexity, and that is not a flaw, it is discernment. They no longer chase clarity from people committed to misinterpreting them. They no longer exhaust themselves trying to be seen by those who refuse to look deeper. Instead, they conserve their energy for spaces where authenticity is welcomed. Comfort with being misunderstood also reflects inner security. When someone truly knows themselves, external narratives lose power. They do not crumble because of gossip. They do not reshape themselves because of assumptions. They remain steady because their identity is internally anchored. Yes, it can be lonely at times, but they prefer solitude over shallow validation. They prefer authenticity over acceptance rooted in performance. And in that willingness to stand alone if necessary, they become unshakable. Because the moment you are no longer afraid of being misunderstood is the moment you become fully sovereign. 5. They see through illusions quickly. Chosen ones with integrated shadow energy possess something that cannot be taught in a classroom: heightened discernment. It is not paranoia. It is not suspicion for the sake of suspicion. It is perception sharpened by experience. They read energy before they read words. They notice the pause before a response. They sense the slight shift in tone. They observe inconsistencies between what someone says and how they behave. And instead of dismissing those subtle cues, they store them. They have learned that intuition whispers before reality confirms. In earlier seasons of life, they may have ignored red flags in hopes that love, patience, or understanding would change someone. They may have given the benefit of the doubt repeatedly, only to realize later that their inner voice was correct from the beginning. That repetition taught them something invaluable: trust yourself the first time. So now, when something feels off, they do not gaslight themselves into staying. They do not rationalize obvious patterns. They do not romanticize potential over reality. They understand that illusion thrives where denial lives. And because they have faced their own shadows, they are no longer afraid to see the shadows in others. This ability to see through illusions does not make them cold. It makes them clear. They can sit in a room and sense unspoken tension. They can engage in conversation and detect hidden motives. They can identify manipulation masked as charm, yet they do not always confront it immediately. Sometimes their power lies in observing quietly and adjusting accordingly. Discernment also protects their peace. They no longer need dramatic lessons to learn simple truths. They rarely repeat the same mistake twice because once a pattern reveals itself, they remember it. Their memory is emotional, not just intellectual. Because of this, they move strategically. They choose relationships carefully. They invest time wisely. They align with consistency, not charisma. And while others may be captivated by appearances, they look beneath the surface. Illusions may fool many, but rarely them. And that clarity keeps them 10 steps ahead, emotionally and energetically. 6. They are selective with their vulnerability. Mastery does not mean being emotionally unavailable. It does not mean being hardened or closed off. It means being intentional. Chosen ones who have mastered their internal dark feminine energy understand that vulnerability is sacred. It is not currency to be spent recklessly. It is not a performance for attention. It is an offering, one that must be earned. They no longer overshare to feel seen. They no longer trauma bond to feel connected. They understand the difference between genuine intimacy and emotional dumping. In the past, they may have mistaken exposure for closeness. They may have believed that revealing everything quickly would create loyalty, but experience taught them otherwise. True connection grows slowly. So now, when they open up, it is deliberate. It is measured. It is powerful. They reveal layers gradually, allowing trust to build through consistency. They watch how someone handles small truths before offering larger ones. They pay attention to how their emotions are received. Are they respected, dismissed, weaponized, or protected? Their softness is not easily accessed, and that is precisely what makes it valuable. Beneath their composed exterior is depth, warmth, and emotional richness. But that tenderness is reserved for those who have proven safe through action, not words. This selectiveness prevents unnecessary wounds. It preserves their energy. It ensures that when they love fully, but wisely. Their loyalty is not casual. Their emotional availability is not automatic. It is intentional. And because they guard their vulnerability carefully, when someone finally earns it, the connection is profound. Their love feels grounding. Their trust feels sacred. Their openness feels like a privilege. They understand that not everyone deserves the rawest parts of them. Vulnerability without discernment is self-betrayal, but vulnerability with wisdom, that is power, and they embody that balance effortlessly. 7. They embrace transformation cycles. The dark feminine understands death and rebirth, not physical death, but ego death, identity shifts, letting go of outdated versions of self. Chosen ones who have mastered this energy do not cling to who they used to be. They recognize when a version of themselves has expired. Transformation is rarely glamorous. It is often lonely, confusing, and deeply internal. There are seasons where they withdraw, they become quieter, they detach from social circles, they question beliefs they once held tightly. From the outside, it may look like isolation, but internally, it is reconstruction. They allow parts of themselves to die, habits, attachments, mindsets, even relationships. They understand that growth demands shedding. You cannot evolve while gripping tightly to identities that no longer align, so they surrender. They grieve who they were. They honor the lessons. And then they rebuild. When they re-emerge, they are different, elevated, clearer, stronger. Their energy shifts. Their standards rise. Their tolerance lowers. And sometimes, people are surprised. They say, "You've changed." Yes, that was the point. They do not fear outgrowing people, environments, or beliefs. They understand that evolution requires courage. They would rather face temporary loneliness than permanent stagnation. They trust that every shedding creates space for alignment. These cycles may happen multiple times throughout their lives. Each time they become more authentic, more aligned, more self-aware. Transformation, for them, is not a crisis. It is a calling. They are not afraid to disappear for a while if it means returning renewed, because they understand one powerful truth. You cannot become who you are meant to be without releasing who you were. Their presence is magnetic, not performative. The final trait is subtle but undeniable. These individuals do not chase attention, yet attention finds them. Their magnetism is not loud. It is not forced. It is not curated for applause. It is rooted in self-containment, in self-acceptance, in inner alignment. Their energy feels grounded, mysterious, composed. They do not overextend to be liked. They do not exaggerate to be noticed. They do not perform confidence, they embody it. And there is a profound difference between performance and embodiment. When someone has faced their darkness and integrated it instead of denying it, something shifts in their presence. There is depth in their eyes, power in their silence, assurance in their posture. They move with intention. They speak with precision. Even their pauses carry weight. People may not always understand them, but they feel them. They feel the steadiness, the emotional regulation, the quiet authority. In chaotic spaces, they remain centered. In dramatic situations, they remain composed. That stability becomes magnetic. They do not seek validation because they have validated themselves. They do not need constant reassurance because they trust their own worth. That internal security radiates outward. Their presence commands respect without demanding it. It attracts curiosity without chasing it. It influences without forcing. And perhaps the most powerful part, they are not trying. They are simply being. Magnetism born from authenticity is far more powerful than attention gained through performance. And when someone has mastered their internal dark feminine energy, they no longer need to prove their power. They become it. If you resonate with this message, understand this. Mastering your internal dark feminine energy is not about becoming cold or detached. It is about becoming whole. It is about integrating both light and shadow so you can move through the world with clarity, power, and self-respect. This is the Woman of Light channel. If this message reached you at the exact moment you needed it, that is not coincidence, it is alignment. Before you leave, make sure you subscribe so you do not miss future messages meant to activate your highest self. And if you have received this message at the best time you needed it, type 1111 in the comment section for divine blessings and confirmation that you are stepping fully into your power. Stay aligned, stay evolving. Thank you for watching.